Welcome to the Bibbidi Bobbidi Basics podcast, a lifestyle podcast with a magical twist. I'm your host, Caitlin May, and I'm a self-proclaimed Disney adult and childless millennial who is obsessed with Harry Potter, Florida Sunshine, and all things basic. Here on the podcast, I chat weekly about everything Disney, Harry Potter, theme park news, and navigating my basic late 20s life. Hello, Magical Basics. Welcome back to this week's episode. We are less than a week out for Valentine's Day, and I would love to hear what your plans are. So reach out to me on our socials or in the comments down below. But this week's special guest is so exciting. She is one of my best friends from college, and she actually has never been to any Disney park. So I'm excited for you to hear her episode. But first, here is the Bibbidi Bobbidi broadcast. We have some very exciting additions coming to Magic Kingdom very soon. Splash Mountain will be reopening from its month-long refurbishment on February 11th. The Adventure Friends Cavalcade will also be debuting on the 11th. It will run 4 times a day at 11:15, 2:15, 4:05, and 5:50. This cavalcade will include Aladdin and Genie, Judy Hopps and Nick Wilde, Moana, Merida, Miguel, Mr. Incredible and Elastigirl, Woody and Jessie, Marie, Pocahontas and Miko, and Panchito and Jose. If you've been missing the Castle Stage entertainment, then you are going to love February because Mickey's Magical Friendship Fair will be returning with 5 showtimes on February 25th. The showtimes will be 12:15, 1:30, 2:45, 4:35, and 6:15. So I'm very excited that more things are returning to the parks, and I'm also very glad that the Castle Show is back. Big news out of Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser this week. We've been learning a lot of new details about what guests can expect from this 3-day immersive experience. Guests will have their own transportation to and from the Star Cruiser and the system Batuu. Different shuttle bus ports have been spotted at the hotel and Galaxy's Edge. The rumor is that these shuttles will have simulators in them, no doubt to make it seem like you are flying from your ship onto the planet. And they will also be getting their own fireworks show. An image of a guest's itinerary was released, and the last activity of the first day was a CSL Star Show at Bespin. The description for the show reads, "Nowhere are fireworks more dazzling than off-planet. Immediately following dinner on the first night, a special pyrotechnic display will showcase the music of our features performers on the cruise, the legendary singing sensation Gaia." A major setback out of Disney Cruise Line, the Disney Wishes debut will be delayed until July 14th, 2022. This is 5 weeks after her maiden voyage was planned for. Disney says the construction of the ship is taking longer than expected, with delays being partially due to the pandemic. Walt Disney World's signs are getting a makeover. The signs will no longer be the iconic purple and red, but they will be painted blue and gold to match the newly painted gateway signs. Painting is expected to start this week. Last week, we talked about Disneyland Paris's 30th anniversary, and we'll add to the festivities, Disney worked with designer Stella McCartney to design a whole new look for our girl Minnie, and boy, did this look cause some waves. Minnie is now rocking a super cute blue and black polka dot pantsuit. Well, this new look caused quite a frenzy on the internet, with people not happy that Minnie is now rocking the girl boss pantsuit. I, for one, think it's super cute and chic, but I want to know what you think of Minnie's new look, so reach out on our socials or comment down below to let us know. Our last bit of news is a very exciting one. Last week, Universal announced its plans to open its 3rd gate, Epic Universe, in the summer of 2025. No solid details other than that was announced, but we are super excited to follow along with this process. And that is all of our news stories for the week. Be sure to leave us a rate and review if you're enjoying season 3. And reach out to us if you or someone you know wants to be a guest. We would love to have you. So now it's time for this week's chat with my good friend Joe. But first, here's a word from our sponsor. So see you next week. And until then, Basics, stay magical. Hello, Magical Basics. Have you been thinking about starting your own podcast, but you don't really know where to begin? I completely understand, because when Bibbidi Bobbidi Basics first launched, I felt the same exact way. Thank goodness I had Anchor to help me. If you've never heard of Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. I know what you're thinking. Katie, is it really that easy? Oh, it is. So let me tell you how. First, it's completely free. We love that. There are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. And then Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more platforms. You can even make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's literally everything you need to make a podcast all in one place. So download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Thank you so much to Anchor for sponsoring this episode. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the pod. Today, I am so excited for you to meet our guest. We have been friends for so long. It's going on like, oh my gosh. Okay, wait, let me do this math very quickly. Like 7 years? Is it 7 years?
It'll be 10 years next year.
What?
2013.
10 years?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, this relationship is going on 10 years. Today we have my friend Joe on the podcast. Her name is Christina Joe, but we call her Joe affectionately. So, Joe, I'm so excited that you are hanging out. I cannot wait to have this episode.
I know. I'm very excited.
I am so excited. We also just haven't caught up like in so long.
Oh,
and
yeah.
We were talking about just life and catching up. And somehow we got on the topic of Marvel. And Jonathan was like, okay, you guys need to shut up because I need to start recording because this would all be really good for the podcast. But we just haven't seen each other in so long. We like needed our little friend time.
It's true.
Yes, casually sips hot beverage.
No, yeah, we haven't caught up in a hot minute.
Yeah, we really haven't. So in the effort to catch up, tell our basics kind of a little bit about you, who you are. We already kind of dangled in front of them how we met, but you can kind of tell them that. And yeah.
Okay. Well, I am Joe, as I was named that, even though it is my middle name. I was named that in college. That was the first interaction Katie and I ever had. So we met in college my freshman year. I think it was your sophomore year, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because you're a year ahead of me. And
yeah.
We met in the green room, and then we had improv class together. I say that you weren't really in the class, but you were there. And
fun side note, that is a class that me and Jonathan met. That same exact class in that same exact year. So I started a 10-year friendship with both of you.
And I was there when Jonathan proposed in that very theater.
Joe has been very pivotal to our relationship.
I also had a huge fever that day.
And Michael got in that car accident.
It was so bad. But no,
and then we ate crepes after.
Yeah, we did. There were we have a lot of memories tied to the theater together, and that's kind of where we hung out, and we were in shows together, and I was in your senior show, and you would have been in mine had you not graduated.
Yeah, rip. I should have just stayed there.
We've known each other for a while.
You were definitely one of the like few core friends that I had at school. Which is funny because we weren't in the same graduating class. Like, I had a whole year before you had even got there, but you just know when you find your people, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and
We
you just
were in a
gravitate
movie
towards that.
together, too. I forgot about that. I was not really in it, but you were in it. So.
Oh, you were at the party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At that beautiful house
that I wanted to own. You were at the Christmas party at that pretty house. Yeah. So we met in college. almost 10 years ago, which makes me feel so freaking old because it does not feel, it simultaneously feels like another lifetime, but also like that was like yesterday.
Yeah, no. I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, it's 2022 and I'm going to be 28 this year, and that doesn't seem right to me.
Right.
No. Who let this happen? Not me. Not me.
So Joe graduated a year after I did. And what are you doing now? Where are you at?
So I graduated with a degree in theater education. Technically, I guess I haven't actually told you this. So my job right now, I'm a programs coordinator at a nonprofit in Manhattan, Kansas. I've lived here for 3 years now. It'll be 3 years in May. I've been working at this job for about a year. And so what I do is I just like plan community education. I hire instructors. And I also get to teach classes if I want to. So right now I'm actually teaching a theater class, and I'm going to teach like 2 more this summer. And I told myself,
that's amazing.
I told myself I wasn't going to teach improv. And then I realized I kind of miss it. So I'm going to teach improv this summer.
What a full circle little moment.
It's amazing. And I actually auditioned for a show in town last year just because I hadn't in a while. I didn't get it, which was actually probably a good thing because schedules were just not lining up. But I've been trying to get back into theater in any way I can. And so right now I'm doing, technically it's an audition prep class, but it's kind of more so turned into a how to build your confidence 101 kind of class. So I've got
I feel that.
2 little 13-year-olds in my class right now who hate talking in front of people, and I'm trying to help them out. So I do that.
That is so fun.
And a bunch of other stuff. But I also run I help run the teen mentoring program and our special needs adults program for our nonprofit. So I do a lot.
That's awesome though. It keeps you busy.
Yeah.
And it sounds like really fulfilling work.
It really
that's
is.
A plus. And the fact that you're using like your degree is really awesome.
I didn't think I was ever going to again. Yeah. But
relatable.
Here we are.
So, I would love to know your favorite Disney film.
Okay. If we're going to go princesses.
Okay.
It's Cinderella.
Classic.
Hands down. I don't really know. I think the best way to describe it is like the animation and everything just, for some reason, it just hits me right in the soul. And the dress transformation, it's perfect. And I love it. But at the same time, I love Moana.
Oh, Moana.
Like so classic good. Disney, totally Cinderella. More recent Disney, it's Moana. I've watched
Moana
that movie.
Is such a it's so
good.
Good.
Many times.
It's so good. It's just everything about it.
I watched it one time at a friend's house for the first time, and I was crying, and I was like, "Can we watch it again?" Pushed play, just kept watching it.
So, what would you think it is about these 2 films that make it your favorite?
Honestly, like Cinderella, I think it's a visual thing, and it was part of my childhood. So like watching, I think that was one of the only ones I had on VHS at the time. So that and like some other 90s movies on VHS. But I think it was just the memories that came with that one. But Moana, I think, like, I got really emotional with that movie. Because like she was really close to her grandmother and her grandma passed away, but she was still with her. And every time that whole moment happens, I lose it.
Same.
Because like I lost my grandma that I was super close to when I was really little, and I think about her all the time, and I'm like, she's always with me, and I always get emotional about it. And so I was like, it's that kind of relationship, oh my god. And then the music just slaps. So
yeah,
you know, gotta go with that. And then the ending is amazing. And
the ending makes me lose it every time.
Every
like I'm
time.
thinking about it right now and I'm like, I want to cry.
I know. I'm trying.
It's just so good, and it's such a
I cry very easily, and you know that, but like that whole
it's so good.
So good.
I have a question on the lightning round where it says, what Disney film do you think has the best message? And sometimes I kind of wonder, like, what would I answer to these questions? Because I'm always the one asking. I'm never the one answering them.
Yeah.
And I feel like I would say Moana to that. Like, just the message behind everything in Moana, it's just so good.
I honestly agree.
So good.
It's just so wholesome and wonderful. I wish that the little pig, whose name I'm forgetting right now.
Pua.
Yeah. I thought he was going to be a much bigger part of the movie because
we have a stuffed Pua because I think he's just the cutest freaking thing ever, and I love him.
Cute. I thought he was going to be a much bigger part. I did think he was going to have
same, and I was a little disappointed with that, but
I get it. He's funny.
He's still adorable, and I love him. Pua. I love Pua. So you are a big Disney fan, but you're also a very big Harry Potter fan.
Yes.
I would love to know your Harry Potter house.
I spent so many years believing that I was a Gryffindor. I am not. I am a Hufflepuff.
Audience, basics, I know you're surprised. I know you're surprised that I have yet another Hufflepuff on my show. I really need to get Kate on here because he's a Gryffindor, and I have never had a Gryffindor, and I'm pretty sure he's the only Gryffindor fan that I have.
I'm pretty sure, honestly. Like,
fan. Did I say fan? I meant friend. I meant friend. He's the only Gryffindor friend that I have.
It's both.
And so I feel like I need to round out my circle because it's all just Hufflepuffs.
It's true. Well, he is also dating a Ravenclaw now. I'm pretty sure. So
facts. So at least that's another. I have two Ravenclaws, so now I guess I have 3.
But no, I am a Hufflepuff through and through, and I thought it was such a bad thing because like there was such a negative connotation when I like was growing up. And granted, I wasn't allowed to read or watch until high school when I just kind of told my parents, it's not the devil, it's Latin. And they were like, okay. And so then I was able to read it. And now I have all the hardcover books and all the movies. And
it's funny how that happens. I too wasn't allowed. And now look at me.
Now look at me.
And now look at me.
No, I was convinced I was a Gryffindor for so long because I was like, I'm so brave and wonderful and amazing. And I'm the main character of the story. And now I'm like, I'm a Hufflepuff. I'm just a Hufflepuff. I know I am, but I'm okay with it.
So you think that that's accurate now? Like you like accept that you're a Hufflepuff and you think that that is a correct assessment?
In like moments of like chaos and like emergency moments, I can pull out a Gryffindor if I really need to just be the person who's smart and defends everyone and make sure everybody's safe. But that's still very Hufflepuffy. So
yeah, true. So
I think
maybe your moon is Gryffindor.
I think so. There was a moment where I was like, am I a Slytherin? I'm not that conniving. I can't.
John's moon is definitely a Slytherin, and sometimes I think it's more overpowering than his Ravenclawness because he'll do and say stuff, and I'm like, that was very Slytherin of you. But my moon is a Hufflepuff, so I think that's why I've like subconsciously surrounded myself with Hufflepuffs, because I guess I just like, I don't know, you like vibe with them
I mean, I think pretty much a lot of the theater people that we were around were very Hufflepuffy.
Mm-hmm.
Because
they're like nurturing and like loyal to a fault.
One of the first things I should have recognized about me being a Hufflepuff was
you being so loyal.
I was so sweet, and like even freshman year, everyone was stressed out and like freaking out one night, and I was just sitting in the green room, and there was a big board, and I wrote like, "I'm here if you need me, heart, Joe," and I was like, I was just like so concerned.
I remember that. That honestly should have been like the biggest telltale sign that you were a Hufflepuff.
It really, yeah. I was very, very
I remember you did that. You were so concerned.
I was so worried.
You were like, come to me if you need any help.
I'm here. Just a baby freshman who doesn't know anything, but I'm here.
We're all like stressed about like our projects and stuff, and Joe's like, I just got here like 2 days ago, but if you need anything, let me know.
I just want to be loved. Oh my God.
Okay, so I mentioned our lightning round. So that is what we're going to do next. Jonathan is going to put 2 minutes on the clock. Please let me drink my tea really quick, though, because I'm struggling.
It's cool, man. I basically finished my coffee at this point, and it's starting to hit me, and I'm like, let's go.
Listeners, if I sound disgusting, it's because I'm pretty sure I have a head cold, so just bear with me. Okay, we're going to put 2 minutes on the clock. If you would like to skip a question, just let me know. We'll try and go through as many as possible. And then if something kind of comes up organically in conversation, we can circle back to it after the 2 minutes is done. Cool?
Okay. I will be as focused as I can be.
All right. Have you ever watched a Disney movie in another language?
No.
If you got a Disney tattoo, what would it be and why?
Oh, probably like the stars in Peter Pan, or like something to do with Cinderella, like When You Wish Upon a Star or something, because Cinderella is my favorite.
Cute. Least favorite Pixar film?
Cars 2.
Favorite sequel on the topic of that?
Ooh, Toy Story 2.
Favorite Disney villain?
Crap. Why am I? Dr. Facilier.
Favorite Universal ride?
The Mummy.
Harry Potter villain that you love to hate?
I mean, Draco doesn't really count, but he counts.
Fair. Favorite Harry Potter character?
Probably... Oh my God, why am I forgetting the names of these people? Oh no. Let's just say Hermione for now.
Okay. If you got a Harry Potter related tattoo, what would it be and why?
I've always wanted to get the Dark Mark tattoo because it has a skull and it's cool, but people tell me it's a bad idea.
I support
it. I still like it.
Harry Potter death that makes you cry?
Oh, serious every time.
Underrated Disney film?
Meet the Robinsons.
Facts. Which villain would you party with?
Probably Maleficent.
Disney film that you find boring?
Oh, crap. I don't think I do. I think every single one that I've watched I actually find interesting.
So that was the timer, but I want to end on one more question. What was the first Disney film that you remember seeing?
Okay. Is Anastasia a Disney movie?
Okay, technically no, but technically yes, because they did acquire the production company recently that made it.
Okay.
So, like, she belongs to Disney now, and Disney is making the money off of her, but back when she was made, she was not. But that movie slaps, and that was one of my favorite movies as a kid, and I love her so much.
That was the first one I ever saw in movie theaters.
Well, you know what? This is a basic podcast as well, and I feel like loving the animated Anastasia and Swan Princess. Did you ever watch those I loved those movies. Those movies slapped as well. So good. We will count her. We will count her in this.
No, I saw like back in like the 90s when I was born, my parents took me to the movie and I got all dressed up and like wore a cute little outfit and they took me on a little date to the movies. Cute. And then I saw it on ice and I was terrified because of the train scene.
I saw Anastasia on ice and it was so good.
It was so good, but the train scared the absolute poop out of me. I was terrified.
Train scene was terrifying.
Every time. But I also do, I get In the Dark of the Night stuck in my head all the time. All the time.
The music in that film is so good.
It's so good. I always quote I give her a hoop and a hi ya and I kick her, sir.
And I kick her, sir.
Every time. It's one of my favorite things.
I remember going to Anastasia on Ice as well. And I bought the little music box.
I have that too.
It was the last one. And my friend Elena was with us. And she too wanted the music box. And so we split it like a child of divorce. It would like go to each one of we lived like 3 minutes down the road from each other, but we would give each other the music box for our weeks. And it like hopped our houses because we both wanted the music box, but there was only one left.
I still have mine, but I think I got mine at a like a jewelry store or like a music box store, and it has fancy. Like everything in it, but the music box is broken. So, and it doesn't
I feel like Elena
anymore.
Has it. I need to ask her if she still has it.
I brought it to college too. I dressed up as Anastasia for Halloween to go to Chipotle once to get a free burrito, and I just held the music box. And they were like, "You're Anastasia," and I was like, "Yep." Where's my free burrito?
That is hilarious. Now that makes me want to watch Anastasia and eat Chipotle tonight. So, Jonathan, that might be what we do tonight. No, that's such like opportune timing though, because literally I was working at my computer the other day and I was like, out of nowhere, like I'm just sitting at my computer doing work and I'm like, in the dark of the night. And I'm like, I have not thought of that movie or that song in forever. Like, why is this all of a sudden in my head?
It just comes out of nowhere and you're like, okay. And then you just like hear the creepy little worms like, find her. And you're like, oh, wow, what's happening in my brain right now? Like,
am I having a mental breakdown?
What's happening?
Maybe.
Rasputin, is that you?
Yeah, for real. Oh my gosh. I was so mad when they didn't make Rasputin the villain in the Broadway production.
Oh my god.
But at the same time, the villain was Ramin Karimlo, and I would take a bullet for that man.
Roman Crumblio means everything to me.
Chef's kiss. Chef's kiss to Roman Crumblio. Nicole, I hope you listen to this episode.
Oh, I love that man.
Same. So I would love to know why Disney and Harry Potter are so special to you.
Oh boy. They weren't for a while. They were important. Like Harry Potter didn't really play a part until high school, but Disney was a big thing when I was really little. And I loved watching it. It was really sweet and awesome. And I mean, I was into other things too, so it wasn't fully like the center of my life.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a minute where it didn't really, like, I didn't really want to be associated with Disney. And that was actually in college. I lived with some amazing people who we have all now reconnected. And they know this. But there was just so much Disney in our room and in our suite that I could not deal with it. And I was like, I'm trying to be an adult. Disney's not for me. Like, that's not. And I was trying to be all grown up and dumb. And so I kind of just shut it off for a while. And I was like, I don't really want to go to Disney. I don't ever want to like do that. I want to go to Universal instead. And
because it's so funny, but it has such a reputation of like, that's what the adults go.
exactly.
And I'm like, it's just like a theme park based on nostalgia, just like Disney.
Just the other movies that aren't kids movies, even though there's definitely a lot of everything is, So
yeah, I think it's so funny.
Like I was that way for a very long time, and then I kind of like I went through a divorce, and at that point I was like, I'm allowed to watch those movies and like be someone that I used to be when I was little, where I can like imagine things and like watch movies that I love and not feel like I'm a child in the worst way, And so I kind of started getting back into it, and like then Disney Plus happened, and I was like,
right, yes. Disney Plus changed my life.
Coming in clutch.
For real.
And like all the old shows I used to watch, like Boy Meets World, and all that other stuff that's on there. Like I finally like let myself be that person again. And I mean, I went to Universal, but I still haven't been to a Disney park yet. But we're gonna fix it.
We are fixing that, everyone.
Yep.
Joe. So, oh man, November maybe. I got a text message from one of me and Joe's really close friends from college. And she was like, I've been missing you a lot. I've been missing Joe a lot. I know that like our lives are crazy, and like, yes, everyone's life the last 2 years has been insane, but I feel like a lot like us three as well. Like we just had like a lot of very like big life changes, and it's so easy to lose touch when you're far away proximity from people. But I feel like our relationship has always been like, when y'all came for my wedding, it never felt weird or awkward that we hadn't seen each other in a while. And like same for yours and same for Jen's. It's just like that type of relationship. Like I said before, like when you find your people. And a very clear sign is when you can just go, months or years on end without seeing each other and then pick up, and it doesn't feel like time has passed,
Yeah, no, we can just kind of pick up where we left off and be like, oh, this happened, oh my God. And then we'll like bring up little memories of college and stuff. It's just, we've been able to maintain a relationship. Like friends don't have to talk to each other every single day to be friends.
Exactly. And so she was like, I've just been really missing you guys lately, and I know that Joe has never been. And she was like, I just think it would be so much fun if we sent her a pair of ears and maybe something else, and surprised her with the fact that we want to plan a trip for all of us to like be together and like go visit you and go to the parks and like take her to the parks. And I was like, yes, absolutely. And there's these ears going around, which if you're in the Disney community, you'll know exactly which ones I'm talking about. But we could also put up a picture of them on the screen if you're watching on YouTube. But they're the black ears with the silver studs. And they're kind of like, they kind of came out during when Cruella was released. So I don't know if they're like a nod to her and like that edgy fashion or whatever. But they're black leather, pleather with the silver studs, and it's like two like silver chains. And so Joe was like, I feel like we could get her like a pair of ears that she could wear, and like that's how we tell her. I'm like, that is amazing, and I already know the pair of ears that we need to get for her. Because I was like, if anybody can wear these ears and pull them off, it's Joe.
It's me.
It's Joe with your dark mark tattoo.
Yes. No, I got that package and I like fully cried.
It's so funny too, because we were in Springfield for Christmas. You were there to get the tattoo, and we had no idea that each other was there, and it didn't work out that we were able to see each other, but I knew that you were going to drive home because I had gotten the notification like that morning that the package was delivered. And so I knew you were like, I'm so sad that we didn't get to see each other. Like, I miss you so much. I just am sad that we haven't talked in a while. And I'm like, yeah, me too. And the whole time I know that you're driving home to that package. And I'm like,
I knew, like, I was like, she knew. And she knew I was going home to it. She knew. It cracked me up. Oh my God.
I did. So, no, you have not been to Disney yet, but I was telling Joe off camera that I would love to do a follow-up episode after you come, because I would love to like kind of parallel the two between you talking about just Disney being important to you and then you actually being able to experience it and, you know, all about your first time and stuff like that. So I really want to do that follow-up episode, but I want to talk about the first time that you went to Universal.
Ooh, okay. So this was back in, 2019. Yeah. And I was living in Georgia at the time with my now ex-husband. He was in the military, and so we were down there. He was doing training and got some super cheap tickets to go to Universal. And I was pumped. We dropped our sweet pupper off at a friend's place, went down there, and I think we spent 2 days in Universal. And it was amazing. My favorite, I mentioned it during the lightning round, my favorite ride is the Mummy. I was so nervous to go on it because I'm not usually a roller coaster person. And I went on it and I like begged him to keep going. I was like,
on it.
Let's go back. And I think I rode it like 3 times.
Jonathan is very traumatized by that ride.
I love that. I could tell you with my eyes closed exactly what happens on that ride because of how much I love it. Like from moment to moment, what happens on that ride. You wouldn't even have to go do it. You just had to talk to me.
You could just experience it.
Like that. I also love the movie, so it also helped. And
I've never watched the movie. So many people are like, my favorite ride is the Mummy. And I'm like, I can't relate. Like, I rode it and I was like, okay, that was okay.
Brendan Fraser.
But I've never
Rachel
watched the
Weisz.
film. So maybe that's why I don't have like a connection to it.
I think once you watch the movie and if you watch the second one, the second one is known for its terrible CGI of The Rock.
Oh.
And it's so bad. But it's so good at the same time. But like that whole ride is just amazing. And I think it does help that it's one of my favorite movies.
Yeah.
But I rode that, rode the Spider-Man ride, and that one was really great. So this is the best part I like telling people about. We didn't even look for Harry Potter World. We were gonna find it eventually, but like we were just kind of wandering around, and we had tickets to both parks, so like we could take the train between Islands of Adventure and Universal. And I'm walking around, and we're just I'm like, oh, what's behind this wall over here? And my ex is like, no, don't go back there. It's probably like an employee thing or something. And I was like, nah, it's not.
Because it does look like that.
Yeah. I was like, nah, it's not. And I went around the corner and there's Diagon Alley. And I'm just standing there. Like, I hadn't even seen Gringotts yet. Like, this is on the other side where like the restaurant is. And like, the little, oh God, I don't want to call her a mermaid, but like the little like water thing.
She is. She's a mermaid.
Yeah. The mermaid. Over in that area. And I just stood there and I stared at it for at least a good minute or two. And I was like, oh my God. And like I started crying a little bit because I was like, this is amazing. Like, of course, Universal is fun and like you get to see different things, but physically walking into one of my favorite movies was just
it's magical. Yeah. And
we were walking around and like he was like, do you want to get a wand? We can get a wand. And I was like, I don't really want to, I don't care. Like that's not something I really care about. Like, let's get something small. And so, like, I have a keychain and a mug. Because we actually got some gift cards to Universal while we were there. And
Oh, that's awesome.
I was also the one who found, why am I forgetting the bad part that Harry went to?
Nocturne Alley?
Thank you, yes. I was walking down another path because, again, it looks like it's an employee hallway. Walked down there and I was like, oh, look, more things. And
Yeah.
it was just everywhere you went, there was just something there. And it didn't feel like I was at a theme park. It just felt like I was there. And
yeah, like in Diagon Alley.
And then riding the train. And I didn't ride the Gringotts ride because I had seen I'm one of those people that watches the ride POVs.
I am also that person.
And so I was like, ooh, don't know if I want to ride that one. And so I was like, but I want to go to the castle. And so we went and we walked her, like, obviously the lines are one of the fun parts of Universal. It's a whole experience.
Yeah.
And so walked through the castle. And granted, this was like, I think this was February in Florida, so it wasn't super hot, but it wasn't cold at all, so it was actually kind of nice. And so we get inside, we ride the ride. I love that ride.
Me too.
But I got so dizzy.
Also me too.
I got so dizzy because I was just like going from cinematic to in your face to cinematic to in your face to rolling around and like everything. It got to me. And I was like, I want to ride it again, but I can't.
I have to take like 2 motion sickness pills.
Oh.
And then I remember one time we ate, I can't remember. We were there to eat something specific. And we rode that ride because the line was like 15 minutes.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, okay, it's only 15 minutes because that's how long it takes you to walk through Hogwarts. So, like, this is a walk-on. Like, we should ride it. And I had taken the motion sickness pill, but I had already eaten, and I just felt like a bottle of Coke that you, like, put a Mento in. Like, I was just, because like you said, it shakes you around. So you're just, like, up and down and backwards and rotating and all this stuff. And we got off the ride, and I was like, that was not the move. That was the wrong move.
that wasn't it. That wasn't it.
Yeah. But that is by far my favorite ride in Universal.
It's great.
The Hogwarts Castle ride. It is so fun.
Even if you close your eyes, you still feel motion sickness.
It's true. There's no avoiding it. You just have to take the medicine and, like, do the thing.
We gotta get those, like, bands. Like the little...
I want one. I tried one when I rode the Mummy for the first time. And I had no medicine in me. Because I was like, I'm gonna, like, do this experiment right. And that band was amazing.
Yeah, no,
But it's, like, off of your heart rate. So it's kind of like a tiny TINS unit. It'll send, like, little shocks, like, into your wrist. And at points in the Mummy, like, when the heat comes on you and stuff like that, like, times when your heart rate is super elevated, like, it was, like, shocking me more rapidly than just, like, other points when, like, we were standing still or, you know.
Yeah.
But
no, my roommate in college has vertigo naturally, and she has to wear those
just
like
all day.
All the time.
All day,
the time. But yeah, no, if and when I go back to Universal, because I'm gonna go. I miss that place. I love that place.
We should go when you're here.
Yes, please. I love that place so much. I will get one of those just so I can ride the Harry Potter ride again, because I don't want to feel sick afterwards. I'm gonna get it.
It's so fun. I love that ride so much.
It's so great.
And I feel like Disney is known for how immersive their parks are. And up until Harry Potter, that was not the case for Universal. Like, I feel like they stepped up their immersion in the Wizarding World so much. Like, when they added the Wizarding World on, just, like, the forced perception that you have, like, looking at Hogwarts, like, it truly does look like you're in the village and Hogwarts is in the distance. Like, just being in Diagon Alley and...
The only other one that I could possibly think would be more, like, even close to immersive would be Dr. Seuss Land or whatever it's called. Why am I forgetting?
Yeah.
But
Seuss Landing.
Yeah, because it's just everywhere.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, this is where I am now. But I think that's the only other one. Well, and then the Simpsons area is also pretty immersive too. But, like, you can still see everything. But the Harry Potter stuff is closed off. Yeah. And, like, when you're there, you're there. And you can't see anything else. And, oh my gosh. It just, I will forever remember that moment of, like, walking in there the first time and just being so absolutely stunned. Because the rest of the park is great, but, like, it's just you're walking through a theme park.
Yeah. So why do you think Disney and Harry Potter are so important to so many people? Because you go to these parks and you see someone from every walk of life. You see people that you probably don't have a lot in common with, but they're also wearing a Harry Potter shirt. Like, there's so many different groups of people that Disney and Harry Potter caters to. And what do you think it is about them that appeals to so many?
Honestly, I mean, I think that we can all see ourselves in different characters in different places. I think there's something for everybody. Especially more recently. Even, like, originally, of course, like, there were a lot of disparities of, like, people not feeling like they were ever really included in movies and stuff like that, or seen and understood. But now I think that there's just so much, and having so much diversity and so much stuff. Like, you can like space things and you're still included. You can like heroes and you're still included. You can like magic. Anything that you like is going to be there in some way, shape, or form. Like, you can like serious movies. They have those. You can like anything that you could possibly imagine. And I think it also kind of, what I mentioned before, is like, it gives you a chance to let your inner child exist. Because I always wanted to go when I was little, like, every kid's like, oh my God, I want to go to Disney. And my family just couldn't afford to do that. Yeah. And now that I'm older, I feel like I have, it's when I go, it's still going to be huge for me. And I'm fully going to cry at some, if not a lot of points.
I cannot wait.
It's going to happen.
My favorite thing in the world is taking people there for the first time. It's just because I get to relive that feeling that I had, like that feeling you're describing walking into Diagon Alley for the first time. Like, I remember that feeling. And so it's so fun to like take people who and like remember that time in your life, because it's such a happy time. And you are right. Like, we can think back to the best times of childhood and celebrate the parts of that child that still live in us, and not think about it as like a negative thing of like wanting to act like a child. Because like everybody else is there, and like it's not, people aren't there to just be like, oh well, I'm an adult and I just want to like, I'm here to judge people. It's like, that's not what we're here for. I'm here to wear mouse ears and eat pretzels and shove my face full of food and ride rides and be silly and look cute. That's all I'm here to do. That is my new Twitter bio.
I'm here to eat pretzels and look cute, and I'm all out of pretzels. I don't know. I love soft pretzels, and I've seen pictures of soft pretzels at Disney, so like that's on my to-do list. Ones.
Well, you can eat all the Mickey-shaped pretzels you want. I would not be mad about it. Yes. I would not be mad. I also really like what you said though first, because I feel like that's one of the main things that I really gravitate towards when it comes to Disney and Harry Potter is that you said you see yourself in characters. And I feel like that is something that's super important to me, is that I see either qualities that I value about myself in these characters, or I see qualities that I want to strive to have in these characters. And I think that's another thing that really makes it super important for people, is just like the stories of, obviously not real life people, but real life situations in these amazing, beautiful, magical stories that we can still relate to.
Yeah. Like I know that, like, I love Tangled and I love Frozen.
Mm-hmm.
But when Frozen came out, I very much related to Elsa in the way that, like, and I don't know how many people saw it this way, but I very much saw her powers and like everything that was surrounding it and how it overwhelmed her, kind of like I suffer from anxiety and depression.
Mm-hmm.
And I had panic attacks, like very severe ones.
Mm-hmm.
And I no longer do, but they were just so crippling. And
mm-hmm.
being able to see someone else basically going through the same thing
mm-hmm.
I was just like, they have a Disney princess who's doing that, and it's not just hunky-dory and happy and everything, and oh my gosh. And it didn't help that I also was confused about what the movie was about, because I had full assumptions about something else. So I was just watching everything happen, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is about like anxiety and depression and panic attacks, and not just about making it winter everywhere. Like, it's about shutting people out and hurting the people that you love because you're scared and you're hurting. And like, as great as it is to have that movie and, you know, like scream, let it go at the top of your lungs with the windows rolled down, it's also like, I felt seen by that. And I don't really talk about it much because people are like, oh yeah, whatever, it's Frozen, it totally overshadowed Tangled. And I'm like, yes, it did. But I felt seen by that, you know? And then I also love the second one, and I'm not usually one for sequels,
one
but
is so good.
The second one's so good. And I cried.
Same. I love the first one. But I think I like the second one more.
The second one, I, again, still related to Elsa, because, like, the spoilers for anyone who hasn't seen Frozen 2, which, whatever, but...
It's been a while, so we don't feel bad.
The part where she's going to, like, the center of... she's following the voice.
Yeah.
And it ends up being her mom.
I lost it.
Every time. I can't even listen to Show Yourself without crying.
Same. I lost it.
I can't. Like, it like, you are the one you've been waiting for your entire life. Done.
I literally just got chills when you said that.
Done. It's just every time I'm like, I am. It's me. I'm the one. And like, that is something I've always needed. Because like, you think about it and you think about all the people in your life that have let you down, or like, that you thought were going to be there for your entire life or whatever. And it's like, you are the one. And it's just like mind-blowing. And every time that just gives me chills, because it's just so good. Yeah. And I don't know, I very much relate to her in that way. Like, not the older sister way, I'm an only child. But like, I very much relate to her in that way. And I'm not rigid, kind of like she seems to be, but like, her mind and the way that things work, very much similar to the way my brain works. Yeah. I'm very happy clappy like Anna, but on the inside
I'm stressed like Elsa.
Exactly like Elsa.
No, and I feel like a lot of times people are like like, yes, these movies are so good for kids. Like, they're entertaining and captivating. And I hear so many people say Disney movies are enjoyable as adults because you get the adult humor. But I would go even a step further, is that they therapize you. Like, I totally relate to you being like, I so related to her anxiety and like wanting to shut people out to protect them. And it's because at the core of these films, there's such good life lessons and messages and just things that you can relate to. Like you mentioned at the beginning before we started, don't say anything about Encanto because I haven't seen it yet. But I remember watching it thinking it was going to be such a cute film and then just weeping because so many things that characters were going through in that film, like I had just gone through like 2 months prior. And it's such like therapy for you to watch those films and be like, oh my gosh, like one, somebody else is definitely going through this because somebody made this film and like put this message in here. And two, just to see it normal, like see things like that normalized, is just, yeah, it's something that I think is so beautiful about Disney and the way that so many people can relate to it.
Yeah, it blows my mind that like people can write this stuff and it's like they're going through the same things that we are. They're real people too. Celebrities, they're just like us. Like
so they're just like us.
That's exactly what I think of. I'm like, oh my God, these are real people.
Yeah. So the last question that I want to talk about, our show is called Bibbidi Bobbidi Basics in an effort to celebrate our collective basicness. So I would love to hear about a moment in your life where you thought, this is the most basic thing I've ever done.
Probably almost anytime I go to Starbucks. Anytime I go to not even just PSL season, like anytime I'm like walking around with the cup that now they don't have straws, they just have that sip lid. I'm like,
oh yeah,
staring at it like, yep, I am a white girl. This is happening. I am a white girl. That or when I got my nose pierced.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like, because I feel like that's a thing now. That, and also on top of this, and you were there when I got my first tattoo.
Oh, yeah.
Getting a wrist tattoo.
I remember your first tattoo.
Getting a wrist tattoo as my first tattoo. That was very basic of me. And I didn't say a word the entire time. It took 10 minutes. Cost me like $45. And I was just like.
So I would love for you to tell the basics, where they can find you. Joe wants to start a podcast, and I think she should. So leave comments down below telling her that she should start a podcast. You have the fancy mic and everything already for it. You just might as well do it.
I just need a lot of other things. we got the one thing right now. We got the one. So
I mean, really, you can start with like bare minimum, honestly.
Yeah,
you don't even need the mic.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard like there's so much research I want to do.
Yeah.
But no, my handle pretty much anywhere is Merry Happy Too. From
Merry,
the Kate
like
Nash
Merry
song.
Christmas.
So
that's pretty basic of you, honestly. Why did you not say that was the most basic?
I never think about it. She actually her song Merry Happy Too is actually trending on TikTok right now, and I'm like,
no way.
Seriously. Because she posted a TikTok not too long ago about getting back into doing music and things like that, and I was like, Kate Nash. But no, that's pretty much where you can find me. I also play video games, and so I'm on Twitch occasionally. I don't stream usually, but I have an account on Twitch, and Discord and Xbox and all that stuff.
And you have a TikTok.
And I have a TikTok, which
with your
is
TikTok.
Alt Jojo 24. I think it's Alt Jojo or it's Alt Joe 24. I can't remember.
Either way,
Either way.
Her social medias will be linked in the description box and the show notes down below. So go give Jo some love. And yeah, Jo, thanks so much for coming on the show. I loved this episode. I'm so excited for you to come to Disney and for us to do our continuation episode.
I'm so ready. I so want to wear my ears and just walk around with a pretzel and cry.
Yep. That's basically what I do every day of my life.
That's the dream.
Jo, thank you so much for being on the show. I had so much fun with you today.
Anytime. I love you.
I love you. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to follow the pod and let me know what you thought of today's episode. All of our links are in the show notes and description box down below. And if you're listening to today's episode, please give us a rate and review, and don't forget to include your Instagram handle to be featured as our basic of the week. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. I upload new episodes on Wednesday and other videos for more Magic Mondays. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. Until then, Basics, stay magical.